These kids cannot read. They can barely spell, they can't write, and they cannot read. And I really blame it on the school system. Because what is y'all doing?
There are a lot of parents that are complaining that teachers aren't necessarily teaching anymore. And it's not only parents, but it's also some other individuals who may not even have kids. So let me know what you think of the videos and leave a comment below.
So when I was in 4th grade, we had just started taking computer classes, and that was when we got a teacher that we'll call Miss Hateful. Miss Hateful did not like kids. I don't know why she was working with kids, because you could tell she hated us. So a few days after meeting our new computer teacher, she tells us she's going to teach us how to put our fingers on the home row keys. So about 30 minutes after showing us, she walks over to a boy, one of my classmates, and we hear a crack, and he starts crying. She said, "I told you to keep your fingers on the home row keys." Now this woman was very intimidating, so of course nobody jumped in or said anything. We just all looked, saw him crying, and we went back to doing our work because we were scared. So the next day, me and this girl were sitting side by side, and she was chicken pecking, and I said, "Use your home row keys." She said, "I forgot, I don't know what they are." I said, A, S, D, F, J, K, and I was showing her. Then Miss Hateful walks up and says, "Shh, no talking." The girl sitting beside me said, "Miss Hateful, I need to know which home row keys are. I don't know where to put my fingers." And Miss Hateful walks over and says, "Put your fingers where you had them." So she does, and then Miss Hateful pulls out a choo-choo pencil and cracks her knuckles. So this girl, of course, starts crying because that hurt. I was scared to death, like I was on my P's and Q's about keeping my fingers on the home row keys. Fortunately for me, I was good at typing, but a lot of other kids were not. Just like I'm not good at math and other kids are. It was just some people who did not understand what we were doing. They had never touched a computer before. And those kids would pay the price because she would crack their knuckles open with that damn choo-choo pencil. Well, finally, after a few weeks of this, a parent comes to the school and wants to talk to Miss Hateful. And when the parent comes in the classroom, her and Miss Hateful get into it, and Miss Hateful bullies her down. That first boy who she cracked his knuckles, it was his mother, and was just trying to have a very polite conversation with Miss Hateful about not hitting him with that choo-choo pencil. And Miss Hateful, she wasn't dealing with it. She was a very tall, built, intimidating woman. And whenever she stepped to you, like people, they feared her. So of course, his mom backs down like, "I'm not trying to fight. I just don't want you putting your hands on my child. I'm going to go to the principal about this." And then Miss Hateful steps to her face and says, "Go. Go." So his mother leaves the classroom and goes to the principal's office, and Miss Hateful looks at us and says, "Don't move and keep your hands on the home row keys." And then she leaves and goes to the principal's office. For the next 30 minutes, all we could hear was Miss Hateful raising hell at that woman and at the principal, and nobody stood up to her.
And I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but y'all kids ain't learning at school. As soon as they walk in the building, open up your Chromebooks and go to Google Classroom for your assignment today. Just thought I'd let y'all know. So just be a little extra lenient if your child failing. These teachers don't be doing and don't even be teaching no more.
Teachers are no longer teaching. Teachers are no longer teaching students. They are telling them to go home, watch videos, read from the textbooks, do notes, take your own notes, study this class on your own, figure out your stuff on your own, and come back to school the next day and take these tests, do these worksheets that will take all period, do advanced work that you have to figure out what you're going to do the next day. I have quite literally been clueless in classes because I had to start Unit 7 today. Or no, I'm about to finish Unit 1. Our test is next week. And he gave us a worksheet on Unit 7. He told us to read from the textbook. It didn't teach us anything. Just told us, he hit us up. So he said, read from the textbook. Don't do anything else. Teachers are not teaching anymore.
Listen to your kids, some teachers actually suck. So I'm working as a behavioral psychologist at this school. Now this kid I'm working with is a menace. My boss had to come in one day because this kid is tearing down books from the library, and I'm pretty new at the school. We're coming back from recess and the kid storms in the classroom. His teacher says, "Oh, here he goes again." The kid goes to his seat and puts his head down. The teacher goes, "Oh, you're going to be upset again? You're going to be upset again all day today?" So the kid gets up and storms out the classroom. The teacher looks at all the other students and says, "Don't be like that kid." My boss and I are sitting there flabbergasted. What my poor boss and that lady didn't know is I'm not built to watch somebody get picked on. So I hit her with one of these. "Come here. Let's step outside real quick." She's looking like her parent just called. Boss is scrambling behind me like, "What are you doing?" First thing I hit her with was, "Don't ever do that again." She said, My boss said, I said, "Be professional. You already know what you did wrong. Go back inside and teach your class." She went back inside and taught her class. Now, I'm looking for the kid down the hallway. He's tearing down trash cans. Teachers looking outside because they're upset. My boss following me around picking up the trash. Teachers mad talking about, "Why can't y'all control the kid?" I don't care. I'm not hearing it. I'm looking for the kid. I said, "Let's split up. You talk to the teachers. I'll find the kid." All of a sudden, I hear the most beautiful, haunting melody I've ever heard. I walk into the auditorium and I said, ain't no way. This kid is sitting there playing a grand piano, beautifully. I'm sitting there watching him play. He suddenly notices me and goes, "Oh, you're here to take me back?" I said, "No, keep playing." He's like, "You like it?" I'm like, "Yeah, where'd you learn to play?" He's like, "Learn? I never learned to play. Nobody taught me. I just came down here one day and started playing. The janitor lets me play when I come in." I'm like, "Because you're amazing." He starts getting all excited. He's like, "You really think I'm good?" I'm like, "Bro, this kid is a concert pianist, bro." He's like, "It's easy. You just click it and listen to it, and it tells you what to play next." So every day he'd have a bad day, we'd go down there and we'd play piano. But I got transferred like a week later, and I really hope that kid's okay.
These kids cannot read. They can barely spell, they can't write, and they cannot read. And I really blame it on the school system. Because what is y'all doing? What happened to Monday write the words 10 times each? Tuesday do the definition. Wednesday do the sentences. Thursday do antonyms and synonyms. Some, they don't even send these kids home with homework. Back when I was in school, elementary school, every student had dictionaries. Yes, our kids be really, really smart, but they have a lot of challenges. And I feel like it comes from the school system. So us as parents, as concerned parents, we need to do better at home because that's where it starts.
Being a substitute teacher, I pretty much never know how my day is going to go. One thing I did not expect is to be crying in the principal's office today. It was awful. This woman hates those kids. She does not like them. She doesn't like them, and they know it. My first clue that something was up was when I first got in there. She left for 3 to 5 minutes to figure out something that was going on. It's all zombie walked up to me and started begging me to be their teacher. We'd never met before. All they knew is that I have a pink walker and fuzzy pink boots, which is usually very inviting to little kids, and that I just walked in and said good morning with a smile. And they started begging me to be their teacher. They started showing me their homework that was not finished, their math homework, saying, will you help me finish this? Will you help me finish this before she gets back? And I was like, what's going on? Why? And I was like, why didn't you do your homework? And they said, well, my parents don't know how to do this math. A lot of their parents don't speak English. And so they couldn't help me with it. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a problem. And I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, well, we'll go over it later. We'll probably go over it during math time. But right now, and they were like, no, we need to get it done. And I was like, okay, well, we can't get it done right this second, so it's fine. Woman comes back in, the teacher comes back in, and she's like, she starts talking about the homework, and she's like, and I know half of y'all didn't even do it. And I kind of like pulled her aside, and I was like, they were saying that they were having trouble because their parents, a lot of their parents don't understand this math, and they're having a hard time getting help with their homework. And she said, that's because they just want their parents to do it. Half these parents, they just do the homework for the kids. She would point out children and tell me that they were going to be a problem for me. He talks too much. He's always out of his seat. Didn't like these kids.
So I used to work in the school system for a little bit. I used to sub and I used to coach for, a little while. And I'm going to let y'all know right now that some of them teachers, they be lying. Yes, your child is getting in trouble for things that they allow other kids to do. I'm going to tell y'all, they don't like your kid. Like, there's some of y'all children that they just don't like and they don't care for. So that's how they treat them. They're mean to them. They're bullies to them. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've had to literally just protect some kids. Go check on your children. Go eat lunch with them. Go see how their day is. Just randomly pop up, bring them lunch, do something. Because I'm telling y'all right now.
I've been trying to reach my 3rd grade school teacher, so I hope that she gets to see this video. Remember when somebody wrote a love letter to another student and it was on pink notebook paper? They signed it, Love Cassandra. Hi, I'm Cassandra. You told me that I wrote that love letter, which I did not write. What you did to punish me is you made me stand in front of the class to read the entire letter to everybody, but I couldn't because I was choking on my tears. So instead, you just had me stand beside you in front of the class while you proceeded to read that letter. You remember that? When you were done reading, I wanted to go to the bathroom to wash the tears off my face, but you wouldn't let me because it was recess time. And then you said before we we go to recess, I just need to let you know that you're not allowed to play with the kids on the playground, and that they probably didn't want to play with me anyways. So when everybody went outside to play, you made me sit on the sidelines while everybody had fun. Do you remember that? Well, I just want to let you know that I'm almost 40 years old and I still remember that.
Now, I do think that teaching has gotten a lot more difficult over the years, just being in the classroom, only because of the different behaviors that have been introduced into society. And the reason for those behaviors, it could be because of social media, it could be because of how parents are parenting these days. And I know for myself personally, as a parent, I really have to make sure that I'm paying attention to exactly what my kids are consuming and what they're doing with their time, and sort of just making sure that they're doing extra work at home, because it's not always being delivered from school. Now, why isn't it being delivered from school? There are a number of reasons for this, whether it's equality or equity in the classroom and things like that as well. But it's hard to really say, is this the right approach? Are the teachers doing the best they can? Can some teachers maybe put in more effort? Are they working too much? I'm curious on what your thoughts are specifically, and please leave a comment and I'll see you in the next video.